Sometimes we fall in love not just with a person, but with a dreamer hope for a future that feels safe, warm, and unwavering. But what happens when that dream starts looking over its shoulder back at someone else? Hello, I'm Margot, and today I want to share a personal chapter of my life, one that I believe may speak to anyone who's ever felt like a second choice or lived in the shadow of someone else's past. I'm 44 years old and I live in a quiet village just outside of Bath, England. I have a son named Oliver, a bright, curious boy. He's 10 now and I'm married. Or rather, I was married. This story is about that marriage, about Charles, and the lesson it taught me. Charles and I met 6 years ago when I was 38 and he was 46. We didn't meet at a dinner party or through friends, but rather quaintly over the phone. An acquaintance introduced us, and for weeks we simply spoke. His voice was deep and reassuring, and I found myself smiling each time he called. By the time we met in person, I felt like I already knew him. He had never been married before, nor had children. I, on the other hand, had come out of a difficult first marriage. My son was only 4 when I met Charles, and I wasn't sure I wanted to start over. But Charles made me feel like I mattered again. He was warm, gentle, and very proper in that charming, old-fashioned sort of way. He told me about a woman he had once loved, Eliza, his first love, really. They were sweethearts at 16, and he always spoke of her with a kind of soft reverence. She had left him when he joined the military. He said he understood, but I could tell the wound had never quite healed. At first, I didn't mind. Everyone has a past, after all. But then I began to notice things. He kept a letter she'd written to him when they were young. It was tucked neatly in a drawer, not hidden, not displayed, just preserved. When we moved in together, I saw her name pop up now and then. Once, when we visited London for New Year's, he saw her across the square. I didn't even recognize her. But Charles? He stood in silence, staring at her like she was a ghost that had come back to haunt him. He didn't say a word to me for several minutes. I was holding Oliver's hand, watching the lights, while Charles just watched her. It unsettled me. I asked him later, gently, if he still thought about her. He became defensive. "You're imagining things, Margot," he said. "Don't be foolish." But it kept happening. Little things. He asked mutual friends about her. He even spoke to her brother once, asking what she was doing these days. I tried to stay composed. I told myself he was just curious. But deep inside, I felt like I was constantly competing with a memory. I began to feel small, unimportant, like I was simply the person he settled for when he couldn't have her. His mother, a kind but candid woman, once told me, Charles never quite got over Eliza. She was the love of his life. It stung. I smiled politely, but inside I was breaking. The man I loved was drifting away, and I didn't know how to reach him. So one day I sat down with him and asked, "Charles, do you truly love Mio? Do you still wish he hadn't left you?" He scoffed at first, but when I pressed, he fell quiet. In that silence, I found my answer, and that's when I knew. I couldn't go on being someone's second choice. I needed, deserved to be loved without comparison, without reservation. I needed to be seen. So I left. It wasn't easy, not for me, not for Oliver, but since then I've found peace. I've learned that loving yourself enough to walk away from half-hearted affection is one of the bravest things a woman can do. If you ever feel like you're living in someone else's shadow, remember this: you are not a reflection of their past. You are a light in your own future, and you deserve to shine without competition. Trust your instincts if something feels off. It probably is. You are not obligated to accept less than full-hearted love. The past has its place, but your present and future deserve all the attention. Emotional honesty is vital in any relationship, yours and theirs. If this story resonated with you, please like, share and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like you were second to someone else's memory? Let's keep the conversation going.